Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I'm Jordan, and today we're going to look at another bottle that I purchased off of Blackwell's Wines and Spirits from San Francisco. I bought it online because they deliver to Wyoming, and this was on my list and I made a lot of I got a lot of whiskeys that are on my whiskey list from whiskey reviews that Rex and Daniel did on the Whiskey Vault channel. They do a great job. They've reviewed thousands of whiskeys at this point, and of course, you can't get your hands on most of them. So buying stuff online is one way to do it. If you can find a place that A has it and B can deliver to your state, to your house, which I was lucky enough to find that. And so this I did the Katokan Creek store pick rye whiskey, Madeira cast finish. I got that one. I got this one. Now, I'm going to read from the bottle, so I'm sorry. I'm going to be looking down, not at the camera. There's a lot of information on this bottle. They disclose most of what's going on, which is really, really nice. And there's a lot of key points on here that I want to bring up about this bottle specifically. It does say the first American single malt. I don't know about that claim or not. Haven't looked into it at all. But it's McCarthy's Oregon single malt whiskey. It's 100% peat malted Scottish barley, barrel aged in Oregon oak. It is, speaking of aging, it says on the back here that is barrel aged for 3 years. It says that the wash was brewed by Double Mountain Brewery and Tap Room, so they give credit to them. And the distillery is the Clear Creek Distillery in Hood River, Oregon, is who actually distilled this product and then bottled it. It is 42.5% ABV or 85 proof. This is batch number W22-01 and bottled on March 11th, 2022. Small batch produced doesn't mean anything, and non-chill filtered. So there you go. This is a peated American single malt using peated barley or peated malt from Scotland. All kinds of good information there. So I really, really appreciate that. As if you follow this channel at all, as everybody knows, I am a peat freak. I love peated scotch. My wife and I both took the drippings in my hand here. Oh man, that smells like wood campfire, chocolate, dark milk, like sorry, not dark, but like a heavy milk chocolate, and wood smoke. It's excellent. Smells excellent. But Isla Distilleries, my wife and I, sorry, tried to drown myself and got a tickle in my throat all at the same time. My wife and I now have in our collection at least one whiskey from every Isla distillery except for one. We do not have any bottles from the Ardnahoe distillery, which I believe, because I can't find them online, can't find them anywhere in the states that I've traveled to. I believe, perhaps, maybe, I can only get them in Scotland at the Ardnahoe distillery. I do not know that for a fact, but if anybody knows, drop it in the comments down below because I am trying desperately to round out my collection and find one. But when I look up the distillery, it kind of says that it's basically a craft distillery on the island of Isla, and so I imagine they don't have great large quantity distribution and stuff like that. So maybe I'm completely wrong and it's well distributed in Scotland or in Europe or whatever. But given the current state of affairs, it's going to be a while before I make it over there. So we'll probably have to do it. So if anybody knows, let me know because I'm curious as to why I can't find any. But that's the last Isla distillery I need. We also like Talisker, the Isla, Talisker, and I got one other whiskey. Oh, this Glen Kinchie, Glen Kinchie. I believe that's on the Isle of Skye as well. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, love peated whiskeys. Highland, Lowland, or maybe this one's a Lowland. I don't know. I picked up a lowland the other day. That one might Nick. This might be a lowland. Whatever. None of that matters. What matters is peated whiskeys are excellent, and so this whiskey caught my attention when Rex and Daniel reviewed it. Went on the list. I was finally able to find it, and an American single malt that's peated. You gotta like that. So picked it up for $55. Blackwell's Wine and Spirits out of San Francisco, California. In the glass, it just smells malty delicious. Butterscotch. Not too much peat. When I swirl it and fracture it, I get just the slightest wafting of peat smoke, wood smoke. There's almost like a dusty antique store kind of, I don't know how to describe it, essence in the background. That's kind of an interesting nose on it. I have to say when I did that, and then so what I'm doing, get some whiskey on your hands, whether it's the drop that comes out of the bottle or what I just did. You rub it in your hands like this until it completely evaporates. It's going to leave the oils and the essence. And if you smell it, you'll get a lot more depth of nose character out of it. So like doing that, I got a heavy wood smoke. I got a dense wood smoke, but a wood smoke that's like the next day after you've put a fire out, and you can kind of smell that ashy, charcoaly smoke. It smells just like that, mixed with a very dense milk chocolate. That's what I get out of it. Um, Now going back into the glass, then after you do that, you can pick up some of those nosing notes a little bit better. There's a little bit of a medicinal iodine in there, actually, and then kind of a sour funk that's kind of coming in there. That kind of is a cross between a boggy, earthy peat and some kind of a sour note. Okay, this is gonna sound terrible, and take it with a grain of salt, but it kind of had just I caught a quick waft of just this uh, oh, I'm trying to think of the chemical name. Um, Ammonia. Like spent a lot of time growing up working on farms for my relatives and stuff, and so I had they like cow manure that like if the cows are out to pasture and it's summer and they're on grass and stuff, they're eating green stuff, kind of that acidic sour green ammonia smell. Not like chicken crap. I know that sounds like an awful note, but to me it's kind of an actual pleasant note because it brings back a lot of good childhood memories is all. But it was just a small, quick burst of that, and it's completely gone now. Amazing what you can get out of a glass and where your mind can wander to. But anyways, so there's your nose. It's actually pretty pleasant, pretty good nose. Going in on the sip, and again, keep in mind this is only 3-year-old whiskey. Okay. On the taste, almost no alcohol. The first thing you taste is a very dense and ashy, charcoaly wood smoke. So that nose kind of carried over into the taste. It's a little bit dry up front. Then it pushes into a nice sweet caramel in the middle. That ashy smoke just kind of carries over in the background throughout the entire flavor profile. Quite nice. And then a lot of sweet notes just kind of pick up in the middle and kind of push through to the end. And then the end, that smokiness just kind of lays across your tongue, dries it out, kind of a dry wine finish, kind of a dryness. And it finishes with that smoky, ashy, charcoaly note in there. 3 years old. That's really excellent. The only thing I have to say, and I just have to bring it up as a comparison, is like for another 3-year-old comparison, pick up any of the McClellans or McLelands, however you want to say it. I'm a big fan of the Isla. The Lowland's not bad, and the Highland's not bad, but their Isla, I can pick up. I just bought one when I went to Casper back in September, a couple of weeks ago. A 175, a McClellan's Isla. It is 3 years old, super smooth, easy drinking, no harsh bites, and it brings a lot of flavor and all the great attributes of Isla whiskey. Um, I picked it up for $38. So compare that to this, which I paid $55. Now this is craft, small distribution, all that good jazz. This is a heavier hitter than the McClellan's. It's a denser flavor profile. The smoke is different. But just to kind of give you a price comparison on what you can get and what a 3-year-old whiskey is going to do. I'm really glad I bought this bottle. This is a very, very good expression of what American single malt can be going forward into the future. And if you watch whiskey videos at all with anybody who's kind of paying attention to what's going on, so here we are, 2022. There is a cask shortage. A lot of the stave companies, you were only able to put in barrel orders if you were one of the big whiskey manufacturers. And a lot of places were limited to the number of barrels that they purchased last year. So if you are a growing and young distillery, you weren't able to increase your volume from year to year. That is due to a stave shortage. And that's largely due to the fact that oak, especially during COVID, wasn't being cut because the two things. Oak wasn't being cut and dried and whatever because the world shut down. But then coupling with that, whiskey production went through the roof during COVID and whatever because everybody's locked at home and they're like, hey, I'm going to become whiskey. If you look at whiskey review channels, like I started my whiskey review channel right before COVID hit, and I was like maybe one of 5 channels at the time. And within 3 months, I don't know, there's got to be 100, 200 different whiskey review channels now. Everybody and their brother and their wife now have whiskey review channels. So we've all been kind of lost in the shuffle except for some of the bigger names. So because of that, there's a shortage of casks. That means, think of your age-stated whiskeys, your 5, 6, 8 years, however far down the road those whiskeys are going to be, there's going to be a shortage of whiskey going forward, in those years, which means that single malt, American single malt, because the rules are pretty wide open on it, would be a great chance for people, distilleries around the country to jump on board with that because you can use used oak to age your whiskey. That's the point of what all of that spiel that tangent is that American single malt could take off along with any other whiskey categories that you are allowed to use used oak. Because if you think about it, bourbon, straight bourbon, rye, most of your American categories that are really popular right now specifically require to use you as a distiller to use new, unused American, or not American, but unused white oak. So first time you fill it, it's a one and done game, which is why Scotland buys a lot of our used bourbon casks. It's because American distilleries can't do anything with them. So there's an opportunity, a lot of barrels available for companies to do single malts and other whiskey varieties that you can use used oak for. So something to keep an eye on going forward. I think that market's really going to explode. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity there for some really, really good whiskeys, and hopefully some craft whiskey distilleries are jumping on board with that idea and trying to start knocking it out of the park. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's raining pretty hard outside. But the nose lightened up in the glass, got a little more earthy peatness in there. That wood smoke and charcoal and ash kind of died down a little bit. A couple of sweet notes in there as well. Going back in on the taste. Did not die down in the palate though. That ashy wood smoke little bit of charcoal. There was like a very sweet vanilla there in the middle for a second. A little bit of brown sugar. And like some oak. Like some barrel impact I taste in there. Man, it's really good. If you can get your hands on this, highly recommend it. $55, totally worth it. If you can find it cheaper, good on you. Drop in the comments down below what, if any, experience you've had with this McCarthy's Oregon single malt whiskey. I think it's excellent. Also, if you have anything to say about this claim that it is the first American single malt, I don't know. Let me know what you know about that, and also what you can find a bottle for in your area, if at all. As always, like, comment, subscribe, check out some of my other videos. If you're watching this on YouTube, I highly encourage you to go over to BitChute and watch this, because this video is probably not going to drop till the middle of 2024, maybe even 2025 on YouTube, if it's even still around by then. Whereas on BitChute, this video is probably going to drop, I don't know, maybe around December 2022, maybe early 2023. So thanks for watching. I do greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys have yourselves a great day, and we'll catch you in the next video, which we'll have to wait for another day because I think that's about all the whiskey I'm going to drink today. And we'll get into this. I don't know if you can see this on camera all that well, but we have the Glenkinchie, which I think is a Lowland 12-year. We have a Dalwhinnie Distillers Edition. We have a Balvenie Doublewood 12. We have a Bunnahabhain 12. We have a Bunnahabhain Stillit. I don't know. I don't speak Gaelic, so I'm not very good at that. We have a Torbeg, something like that. This one's from the Isle of Skye. The Alt Glean. We have a Talisker 10, which I finally broke down and bought a Talisker 10. I have 2 Talisker Storms, 2 Talisker Distillers Edition, which I was able to find a Distillers Edition for $66. Big score. And I think I paid $38 or $39 for the second bottle of Storm as well. My wife and I, we got this Ardbeg punctured, taste buds punctured Ardcore Ardbeg. Probably overpaid for that one, but hey, Ardbeg's Ardbeg. Still a big fan. And then also from the Blackwells, we have the Ardbeg and Oa, which is kind of the last of the mainstay lineup. We have the we've done reviews of the Corey Reckon, the Ugadal, the Wee Beastie, we have a Distiller, we have the Ardbeg, we have the regular 10. Yeah, we got all kinds of good Ardbegs. And then for my wife's and my anniversary, we picked up this Kavalan Taiwanese. This is the cask strength. It's basically like a Scotch-style single malt. It's cask strength, and it was aged in bourbon barrels, ex-bourbon barrels. I thought that one was going to be awesome, but then I did a little more digging on the reviews, and what I really was hoping for was that it was a wine cast finish one. I didn't really look at it too closely when I bought it. Ooh, big mistake. Paid $179 for it, but still an excellent whiskey. We'll get into that one as well. It's more of a Highland style whiskey with the notes. There's a lot of like coconut and tropical fruits with it, which is kind of interesting. But still keeping my eyes out for one of those wine finished ones, whether it be a port or a red wine, or there's a bunch of different ones. But looking forward to getting another one of those, and hopefully, everybody cross your fingers. A buddy of mine's going to come through, and I'll get a Remus Repeal 6 and a 5, and hopefully a Henry McKenna 10-year single barrel bottled in bond. And hopefully, maybe, if he's feeling rich, because I'm going to pay him back, but he's got to front the money at the store. So a Calumet 16 black single rack. So there we go. Hopefully we got good things to come. But these are all the reviews that I got coming up. Make sure you check out all those videos in the days to come. And yeah, thanks for watching, you guys. Have yourselves a great day. Stay strong. Keep your powder dry. Pick up some whiskeys, because there's going to be a shortage, whether it be supply chain, economics, or just the world turning to shit, one way or another, there's going to be a shortage going forward. So make sure if you want to have a couple bottles on hand, you're out there picking those up as you can. And yeah, let's watch the world burn together. Catch you in the next video.